Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And if you've been under a rock for the last couple of hours, or you haven't been on social media, the breaking news is officials have identified the person accused of fatally shooting Charlie Kirk, conservative activist Charlie Kirk, as 22-year-old Utah resident Taylor Robinson. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said at a press conference Friday morning that investigators arrested and identified Robinson after analyzing surveillance footage, interviewing Robinson's family members, and reviewing online messages between Robinson and his roommate. Cox went on to say, and I quote, "We got him." What a tough guy. Standing with FBI Director Kash Patel and other law enforcement officials. Robinson is expected to be charged with aggravated murder, felony charge of a firearm causing a serious bodily injury, and obstruction of justice, according to authorities. If you don't remember who Charlie Kirk is, Kirk was the co-founder of Turning Point USA and was a voice in the Trump administration, or at least people believe so. He was shot and killed Wednesday during an event at Utah Valley University, a public school south of Salt Lake City. His killing launched a multi-day manhunt among local, state, and federal authorities. Everybody was involved in trying to look for this kid. Cox went on to say that Robinson's family members reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the killing. According to Cox, investigators interviewed family members of Robinson who said that he had, quote, become more political in recent years. He goes on to quote to say, the family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th. And in a conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. Cox said. He goes on to say they talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints he had, end quote. Now, Cox said that investigators interviewed Robinson's roommate, who showed authorities messages on Discord between Robinson and his roommate. The message associated with the name Tyler state, and I quote, a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in the bush. Engraved bullets said having left the rifle wrapped in a towel, and I quote, and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. That's all what Cox has said in the press conference. Authorities said on Thursday that they recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a wooded area just off of the university campus in conditions that matched Robinson's message. Cox said that the rifle used was a Mauser 98 30-06 and had a scope mounted on top of it. He added that the inscriptions engraved on the casings found with the rifle. One of the inscriptions had the lyrics of the Italian folk song Bella Ciao. If nobody knows what Bella Ciao is, it was an old anti-fascist song that the Italian people wrote during the Italian Civil War of 1943, which was going on during World War II. And it's not in support of fascism. It's not in support of communism. It's not in support of anything violent. It's a rally. It's a national song. It's a rally song to get people back together. Another casing read, "Hey fascists, catch," with an up arrow and a right arrow and 3 arrows down. The third stated, and I quote, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO," which means laughing my ass off. According to Cox, the inscriptions on the casings fired said, "Notices, bulges, OWO, what's this?" I mean, these kids today are just retarded. The governor added that investigators have also identified Robinson in surveillance from the Utah Valley University, provided by Utah Valley University, which Kirk was killed on Wednesday, which showed him arriving at UVA at 8:29 a.m. in a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators approached Robinson Thursday. He, and I quote, was observing inconsistent clothing that appeared in these surveillance images. Surveillance images released by the FBI on Thursday show what appears to be a young man, thin, wearing a black long-sleeve T-shirt with an American flag on it, black sunglasses, an Adidas hat, jeans, and Converse sneakers. So far, so good, right? I mean, they have this kid dead to rights. Now, state and national public records associated with Robinson's name and date of birth found no indication of the 22-year-old having a prior criminal record. Public records indicate that Robinson's last voter registration date was July 13th, 2021, and his political party was not declared. Why does that matter? I don't know. I just wrote it down. Robinson went to Utah State University for one semester in 21, and a spokesman from the university claims, and he apparently dropped out. Now, he had a scholarship. I saw one video where he had like a $30,000 scholarship to go to USU, but I guess he was just flamed out. So what does this all tell us? What is this? Where are we going here? Well, the suspect, Robinson, allegedly killed Kirk because he was spreading hate speech. That's what police are saying. They're saying that's what he told them. It just seems too easy to me that that's the reason. But maybe it is. Sometimes it's the simplest little stupid things. And these kids today, these 20-year-old snowflakes, are just weak and they're feeble and they just can't handle arguments or disagreements. You either agree with me or you're my enemy and I'm going to try to shoot you. Now, I've watched a lot of videos with people who are famous on these podcasts who claim to be, former Navy SEALs and military people and CIA people. They've all said the same thing, that the shot that killed Kirk right in the throat was not by accident. That was a target, and it's a very hard target. And they've all said the same thing. That is a highly skilled individual that did that shooting. I don't know who this kid is. I don't know if he's one of these gun nuts, and a lot of these states like Utah and Oklahoma and places like that these people are all gun nuts. I don't know how skilled this kid was, but from 200 yards away to hit that guy where he hit him, that would kill you instantly. I don't know if I buy it. I don't know if I buy it. Now, allegedly, Robinson was communicating with someone on this Discord platform to help him get this rifle and this scope. And he talked about the assassination of this kid, Kirk. The roommate, they just interviewed him and let him go. Were there more people involved in this? Maybe there were people involved in it that just didn't know they were involved in it. Maybe he asked for this rifle and somebody said, oh yeah, you can get it at some gun show, or you can get this scope here. And they gave him information without knowing what was going on. It's possible. Anything is fucking possible now. But the fact of the matter is this: we don't know what what element it was behind this guy shooting him. To say that it was because he hated gays or blacks or transvestites or trannies. I, I mean, is this generation that fragile? I mean, are we at a point now? Excuse me. Are we at a point now where you can't talk to anybody? You can't talk about politics to anyone. You can't have debates with anyone because they may get so pissed off that they may try to stab you or go back in their car with their rifle and start shooting up a place. I mean, this is a disaster. Now, Donald Trump has called for this kid to face the death penalty. Trump is quoted as saying, "I hope he gets the death penalty." He said this earlier today. Utah, I think, is still the only state in America that has the firing squad. And they haven't had a public execution in 88 years, and that's what people are calling for. I'm going to tell you, you know what? You want to hang him on TV, go ahead. I'll watch it. But at this point, we have bigger fish to fry. We have a generation of weaklings here. And we have countries out in the world, China, Russia, some Middle Eastern states that are looking at this and licking their chops. Because if these guys can't, if they're this weak, then who's going to defend these borders? I mean, who's going to do it? I mean, it's this guy Robinson. I mean, he shot this guy from 200 yards away, but in a time of war, you're facing your enemy face to face. You're not hiding behind a scope. And we know from the previous wars that the United States has been involved in, Afghanistan, Iraq, once you put boots on the ground, that's where the United States, they turn into a third-rate military power. They can't beat anybody on the ground. They can bomb the shit out of you all day long. They can drop bombs from everywhere and everywhere. But the minute you put people on the ground and those people come back in body bags, this country crumbles. Iraq, Afghanistan proved that. Vietnam proved that. Most of you are too young to know that. We don't like seeing caskets with the American flag draped on it, and that's why we lose. But the question remains, and this is going to be a short podcast today. The question remains, do you think this kid could really pull this off? Could you think he really pulled this shot off? Because everybody is saying that this was supposed to be a professional marksman, a talented, highly trained marksman. And this kid supposedly pulled that shot off perfectly. 22 years old. Right now, it doesn't seem like he had any type of military training. He was not in the military. His father was a sheriff in their hometown for over 20 years. He had access to guns. You know that. These people, I mean, his mother, who was taking all the pictures down on social media, that dummy had a picture of her with this huge freaking automatic weapon. I don't understand why people pose with guns. There was a story many years ago. It was from the New York Times, so take that for what you will. That equated gun ownership with IQ levels. The more guns you own, the lower your IQ is. I don't know how they process that, and it's probably more of a left-wing propaganda bullshit. But I kind of, every guy that I know that has, and there's people down here with lots of guns, every guy that I know that has lots of guns is basically retarded. It's like, I don't know. Does the gun or the bullets like sap your brains? Does it eliminate the fact that you should be reading a book? Now, the left is celebrating this. The left is celebrating this big time. They're celebrating the fact that this is a white kid who's Mormon, who, listen, Mormon and moron are not too far away from each other in the alphabet. And that he supposedly comes from a family that is Republican. They interviewed his grandmother, who said that the whole family votes Republican. And that this guy Taylor never spoke about politics. He was very, very shy until recently. So the left, of course, is celebrating this. But there's one guy who's paying the ultimate price for his stupidity. And these celebrities I don't think we'll ever learn. Guys like Robert De Niro, who I admire very much for his movies, and many of these other celebrities. But Stephen King came out and accused Charlie Kirk of having wanted to stone gay people. Now, I don't know where he got that from. He probably got that on the internet and didn't realize what he was saying, that it wasn't true. But Stephen King retweeted that, he really didn't feel bad for Charlie Kirk dying because he wanted to stone gays. And of course, when Stephen found out that this was not true, that was a false claim, he immediately went on the apology tour. And here are some of the tweets that he's been putting out today, and he's been getting slaughtered. The first tweet was, "I apologize for saying Charlie Kirk advocated for stoning gays. What he actually demonstrated was how some people cherry pick biblical passages." He then retweets again, following up on that. "I was wrong, and I apologize. I have deleted the post." A reply from Defiant L's states, "I'd say Stephen King should be ashamed of himself, but what's the point?" King replied back, "I apologize. Charlie Kirk never advocated stoning gays to death." Colin Wright, I don't know who that is, then tweeted, "No, he didn't, and it's exactly this kind of extreme rhetoric that encourages people to commit violence." King then retweeted again, my goodness, "I have apologized." Sebastian Gorka, he's another lummox, then stated, "When? You decrepit liar, show us when Charlie ever said," and then whatever, show more. I'm not going to show that. King then retweeted again and says, "The horrible, evil, twisted liar apologizes. This is what I get for reading something on Twitter without fact checking. Won't happen again." And Ted Cruz, who should have more on his plate than tweeting, he tweets back, "You are horrible, evil, twisted liar. No, he didn't. Your party, which is shameless, and shilled," and he goes on. But I didn't. This was all a screenshot of poor Stephen King getting massacred on X, which is always funny and always good to see. These people are vapid. These people are vapid. And when you have this type of language going on in this world, and you have these people who just can't, they can't agree or disagree with you. They have to turn violent. We're in trouble. Just a foundation of the country is in trouble. Now, of course, the ADL, the Jewish Defense League, they've reported that more than 10,000 anti-Semitic posts have appeared in social media. I don't know how they came up with that number so fast, claiming that Israel or Jews had something to do with Kirk's murder. I just don't buy that. I mean, why would they kill? This Charlie Kirk has been lionized over the last 48 hours. This guy was a moderate. He debated stupid college kids. I saw him debate this Colonel MacArthur. If you watch conservative YouTube, you've seen him. He was totally out of his league. He wasn't this bright beacon of light for conservatives or Republicans. Yeah, he was basically what that Steven Crowder guy is, except he talked about Jesus a lot. He was a Bible thumper. He wasn't going to be president. The country's not going to sink because he's not here. What Republicans are doing, what conservatives are doing, to a lesser extent, is what Democrats and liberals were doing when this George Floyd guy died. They lionized him. They made him out to be this wonderful person. He never did anything wrong. He never, he shit jelly beans. Charlie Kirk said a lot of stupid things too. He said a lot of things that I didn't agree with. The whole thing about, blacks being better off being slaves. Do you say that out loud? Does it make sense saying that? There were a lot of Irish that were slaves in the 17th, 18th centuries by Arabs. Were they better off? Nobody wants to hear that, especially if they're black. It doesn't matter. He came off sometimes as very condescending and just very out of touch. And a lot of Diet Coke Christians are like that because they use the Bible as a crutch. When he said that Christians should worship Jews because they are the chosen people, dude, what the fuck are you saying, man? So we got to stop lionizing this guy. Do we feel terrible for his family, his children, his kids are never going to know who their dad was? Yeah, of course. But let's not beautify him yet. He was a moderate. He was an okay guy. And trust me, his family doesn't need any money. He had more than $40 million of Israeli donations that went his way. He doesn't need any money. His family's okay. They're better off than you and me. But now I'm going off on poor Charlie again. All right. That's my 2 cents. I hope you're enjoying your Friday. It's beautiful out where I am. And thank you again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be careful out there, my friends. As you can see, Satan is always busy, and he loves the Mormons. Be a man, have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And just remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. Have a great weekend.